Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Welcome to the West Texas View, and again today we're going to be talking about the Circle 6 Ranch Camp, Baptist Camp. And even though it's owned by the Baptist, it is not exclusive to the Baptist. And this is one of the open camps, and it's called a rental camp. And its facilities are available to anyone who wants to come in and rent it for any kind of thing, whether it's weddings, reunions, business conferences, teacher conferences, just all kinds of things, besides the youth conferences and the church conferences that they have. And it's very non-denominational in the way that the people use it, because they have people from all over the whole Permian Basin that come in with their different denominations and use it. And the staff has emphasized over and over that they're there as a support to provide the facilities, the working management, and also the food service, so that people can do their business and not have to worry about any extraneous things. We're going to talk today about the kinds of events they've had, and we're also going to talk about why we need camp. You met Brian Colbath, who is the executive director, and Danny Gearheart, who is the recreation and guest services director. And these two men have really formed a wonderful team that, with the cooks and all the other people involved, put on a wonderful, wonderful place for you to bring in your people. Last week when we met both of these gentlemen, they told us that they were originally from Central and East Texas, and so when they came out to Big Spring, they kind of got a shock with the flat land and not many trees in comparison to where they were from the hill country and from the timber country. But they adjusted very quickly and have grown to love it. And I wanted them to talk about why camp is so important. And Brian, you were giving me some statistics last week about camp and why it's still a really important need in our country.
Yes, ma'am. This day and age, with all the pieces of electronics that we've got, kids are so tied into either their iPhone, iPad, Android, whatever gadget or gizmo that they've got. And you see it walking around the mall, walking around the park,
sitting at the dinner table.
Yes, kids, parents alike are down. They've got they're starting to get the, what do they call it, the texting neck or whatever, where they're kind of slouched over. But camp kind of gives you the ability just to break free. I mean, for all of our kids camps and youth camps and stuff that we do, we ask the kids that they're not even supposed to bring a phone, any electronics or anything like that, so that they can just focus on investing time in themselves and trying to figure out their purpose in life. The average kid is spending 7.5 hours a day on their electronic device. The Christian Camping Conference Association does studies. They've got a program called The Power of Camp. You can get on their website. It's thepowerofcamp.com, and they show you the different stats and stuff of kids of what they're doing. So you've got 7.5 hours a day that the kids are spending on some sort of electronic device, where on the other hand, the average kid is spending 6 minutes outside. And so you've got a big difference coming out to camp than staying at home or whatever else you're doing.
And many of them have never been in a rural setting like a camp.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm used to, I grew up in Dripping Springs, right outside of Austin, where you had hills and everything. You hopped on your bike to see, hey, you would challenge your brother, see how far they could jump on their bike. You let them go first, so they crashed. It was them crashing, not you. Yeah, camp gives you the opportunity.
And this is our camp director.
I've changed since then, yeah, I mean they're spending only probably 60 minutes, 60 minutes a day in meaningful anything, meaningful
relationships,
yes.
conversations.
Yes, they would. camp is just a really good way to get them off their cell phone, because that gives them time.
Talking to each other face to face.
You're building the community. It's temporary community. There's a lot of good stuff that comes out of that temporary community, and it makes the kids more comfortable as well. I mean, if you're coming to one of our program camps during the summer, the church is usually sending a sponsor, and the kids are coming with that sponsor, and so it's not necessarily one of their parents. It might be one of their parents, but not everybody's parents. And so you get a lot of things where kids open up about stuff in their past or what they're dealing with, and you can help them out. Those usually the churches train their counselors to handle that kind of stuff, and camp creates that environment where the kids are comfortable. And then during our retreat season, we want to do everything we can to make the adult feel comfortable. We don't tell them that they can't have their phone, but there's no TVs in their rooms or anything like that. Cell phone service is not the best, but that's a good thing. That gives them a chance to have a distraction-free time at camp, and that's what our staff is there for, to make sure that they are focused on why they are there, whether it's for growth in their spiritual walk, growth in their daily lives, whether they're just trying to get over maybe a drug addiction or anything like that. They can just kind of push that aside and get away for the 3 or 4 days that they are there for.
And that brings up, Danny, talk to us about some of the different groups. And do you have you had Emmaus in some of those groups?
We serve a large part of our groups are Emmaus groups, and we really love serving those groups. Some things that we're trying to do to be able to serve some other groups in addition to them is about 10 years ago, our camp built a gymnasium, but it was never heated and cooled, which is not a real good idea for West Texas. It's a little warm. So we just air conditioned it and are in the process of remodeling it and making it into a nicer, bigger, more modern worship center. And so we can serve more than one group, because we really, as far as big facilities, we have several smaller facilities, but this would be our second large facility. So to allow us to serve more people and really fulfill our mission statement a little bit more.
Do you ever have two groups meeting at the same time? For example, a small family reunion and a small business meeting?
We do on some. We can have several small groups because
you've got different meeting facilities.
Right. But as far as serving several large groups, that's why we're getting to the point where we want to do this worship center. And we should be able to do that hopefully before the beginning of this coming summer.
What is the maximum capacity?
We're about 300 beds.
There's 300 beds, and then you got 96 that can sleep in the hotel room. So it's just over 400, because there's a little bit more than 300 beds.
And so if you were coming out though just for a Saturday work conference, what's the capacity?
So if you're like right now, our largest room is the Tabernacle, and they can hold 500 people. And so you can have 500 people there for
a teacher's meeting or something. Yes. We're going to have to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.